Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Thursday, October 9, 2025. And in the news this evening, police killed 2 in operations linked to Commodore mass shooting. 2 men were fatally shot in St. Catherine on Thursday during alleged confrontations with the police investigating Sunday's quintuplet murder in Commodore district in the parish. Police said 2 illegal firearms were seized in the incident. It is understood that the first incident occurred shortly after 5 a.m. when a joint police military team conducted an intelligence-driven operation at Joel's estate, Knowles in Bog Walk. Upon entering the premises, the lawmen were reportedly confronted by an armed assailant who pointed his weapon at the police. The team opened fire, hitting the man, who was later pronounced dead. An M16 rifle, along with a magazine and ammunition, were seized. According to the police, in a related operation later in the morning, another investigative team intercepted a vehicle with several men on board traveling along Grange Lane. It is alleged that the occupants opened fire on the cops, who took evasive action and returned the fire. When the shooting subsided, one man was found wounded from gunshots. He was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The police said a pistol was seized from the now deceased. Both incidents have been formally reported to the Independent Commission of Investigations, and detectives from the St. Catherine North Police Division are continuing their investigations, the police said. 5 people, among them a 4-year-old girl, were slain when gunmen opened fire in a yard in the Commodore district. 4 other people, including an 11-year-old girl, were shot and injured. The Jamaica Constabulary Force further appealed to members of the public to share information that can assist in the investigation. Toots and her cronies are charged. The St. James Police have charged the alleged female mastermind of a robber syndicate operating in the parish. She has been identified as Shamara Forster, otherwise known as the Toots, of a railway lane address in Montego Bay. According to the head of the St. James Police, Senior Superintendent Aaron Samuels, a preliminary charge has been applied to the woman as investigations continue. One of our main targets in terms of the robberies, a young lady by the name of Toots, who was a leader of the syndicate during the robberies. She was held on Sunday and officially charged for illegal possession of ammunition, Samuels told the monthly council meeting of the St. James Municipal Corporation. We are investigating her, along with the other 5 cronies who were held as well and charged, he added. It is expected that more charges will be laid against the woman and the other individuals as the police continue their probe into a variety of robberies that have especially impacted members of the Chinese business community. We are investigating other offenses, including a series of robberies that have been taking place, Samuel stated. Toots and the men were held following an alleged robbery incident on Sunday. The police also managed to take a hold of a Toyota Axio motor car that was reportedly used by the robbers. This comes following other breakthroughs that the police have made with the gang, where 10 others have already been taken into custody and charged with a variety of crimes. However, while Samuels explained that they were happy with the work that has been done so far, they are still wary that more work needs to be done. We believe that this has put a significant dent in the robbery syndicate's activities. We know that there are other members out there, so we are not saying that's it. We continue to put the pressure on to ensure that we can go into the Yuletide season enjoying peace and enjoying shopping, etc., he emphasized. St. James, a man charged with wounding with intent. A 33-year-old man has been charged with wounding with intent after allegedly attacking and stabbing a man in Bumble Lawn, Lilliput, St. James on Sunday, April 20. Charged is Duran Adlam, a radio operator of Ocean Heights, Lilliput, St. James. According to police reports, about 8 p.m., a man was walking along the roadway when he was attacked by Adlam and a group of men who stabbed and beat him. He managed to escape from his attackers and ran in an effort to escape a further injury. The men later escaped on foot in the area. The police were alerted, and upon their arrival, the man was seen with multiple stab wounds to his face and head. He was taken to the hospital, where he was admitted in serious but stable condition. Adlam was later arrested and subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. Indicom targets Asian fugitive apprehension teams. The Independent Commission of Investigations says it has pegged the increase in fatalities during planned operations by the security forces to the introduction of the area fugitive apprehension teams. The commission, which made the observation in a special investigative report on planned police operations tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, said since 2022-2023, the AFAT deployment has increased from less than 5% and accounting for less than 5% of PPO fatalities to one where the AFAT deployment in 2025 up to July 31 now accounts for half of all PPO deployments and nearly half of all fatalities arising from PPOs. On the converse, Indicom said the disbandment in 2019 of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Mobile Reserve Command saw whether as a correlation or causation the lowest fatality figures in both the fatal shootings at 86 and also the lowest fatality figures arising from PPOs with 10 in that year. It said in 2022 and 2023 only one PPO fatality was caused by an AFAT. In data showing the deployment of AFATs and involvement in total incidents, Indicom said in 2022, AFAT deployment was 5% of the total 21 planned police operations, in which 31 individuals were killed. However, in 2023, when AFAT deployments were 4% of the 23 PPOs, 24 individuals were killed. The Commission also said that in 2024, AFAT deployment was 23% of the 64 planned police operations, which saw 76 people being killed. In the meantime, between January 1 and July 31 of 2025, when AFAT deployment was 51% of 86 planned police operations, 97 individuals have been killed, the Commission said. It saw the figures show the increasing involvement of fugitive apprehension teams, both in their deployment in planned operations and the number of fatalities that result as a proportion of the total. The AFAT is a specialized police unit that operates across the police divisions to locate and arrest violent criminals, particularly those whose crimes extend beyond the divisional boundaries. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake has explained that the teams were born out of necessity, as violent criminals, often highly mobile and networked, cannot be contained within divisional borders. These individuals wanted for violent crimes are not confined by geographic divisional boundaries, hence the area fugitive apprehension teams, the Commissioner has said. The AFATS works in collaboration with other police units and sometimes the Jamaica Defense Force to conduct strategic operations targeting wanted persons, illegal firearms, and criminal gangs. In its report to Parliament, Indicom argued that command leadership is a critical aspect of PPO operations, and said it is equally pertinent to note that 3 senior officers within the AFAT structure have between them some 64 police-involved fatal shooting incidents prior to their elevation to senior command rank. The civilian-staffed agency said of these, 18 were identified as suspicious. The agency further noted that in their current command, 11 planned operations have been identified as suspicious, with junior officers acting under their command. Indicom also said in the 5 years since 2021, the number of people killed in security force shooting incidents have increased each year, and particularly in 2024 and 2025. The Commission said in 2019, the number of people killed during a PPO was the lowest at 10, while in 2021, PPO fatalities was 9% of total fatalities when 11 men were killed. It stated, however, that since 2022, there has been a marked and disquieting increase in fatal shootings occurring during PPOs. Indicom said from the low of 11 persons fatally wounded in 2021 to 76 in 2024, it represents a 591% increase in deaths arising from planned police operations in 36 months. The Commission said this continuing policing tactic is observed in the first 7 months of 2025, January to July, where 97 people have been killed during a PPO, representing 51% of the 190 fatalities in 2025 at July 31. The Commission also drew attention to weapons recovered during operations, saying of the 108 PPOs in its study, a firearm was reported as allegedly being recovered by the police at the scene in 99 of those incidents. According to the Commission, in only 9 of the cases was no gun reported as recovered from the scene. It said the 2 incidents involved the deceased allegedly attempting to take the law enforcer's firearm, and the 7 involved the possession of a weapon other than a firearm. According to Indicom, in 50 of the 108 incidents, the weapon was reported as not being fired, albeit it was reported as being either seen, attempted to be drawn, or pointed at the police. It said in the 58 cases where it was reported that a man fired a gun at cops, mostly within the confines of small rooms, no member of the security forces in this study was fatally wounded in such a close-range encounters. However, 2 officers in separate incidents were reported as being shot and injured, one of whom was unfortunately injured by an officer's weapon, Indicom stated. It also remains the case, as identified in 2014 and 2016, that the alleged recovered firearms do not remain in position. Further, none are observed as correctly secured in exhibit bags and documented. Rather, they are collected by officers, placed in either their pockets, vehicles, or other coverings, and is subsequently produced to Indicom, the Commission said. Indicom also said it considers that all planned operations should by now be incorporating modern forensic recovery methods to retrieve and to protect the firearm and enable forensic evidence to be preserved, for example, blood, DNA, firearms residue, fingerprints. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.